Is it important? It's very crucial.
Groovy.
Little stereo.
I'll say kick it, and you'll just kick it with a tasty groove, okay? 1, 2, 3, kick it.
Woo!
Oh, hi, Mark.
He likes.
It's time for the most crucial podcast with your host, me, Mark Franchise.
Meow.
All right, welcome. It is Mark Franchise, and we are here with somebody who I think is one of the most dominant centers in NBA history. It's hard to argue. Obviously, a Bad Boys legend, an NBA legend, somebody who was a part of a huge turning point in the entire league. Here with former Detroit Piston and world champion Rick Mahorn. Dude, thanks for coming on today. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You know, I actually seen you a couple times. I used to work at CJ Mahoney's in Rochester Hills. So.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That used to be my spot.
Yeah, actually, I worked there. I was a cook there from, I think it was like 2010 to 2017. So I probably made some food for you.
Yeah, probably did. It probably said send it back.
Right. Yeah, no joke.
No, I didn't say that. CJ Mahoney.
Yep. Yeah, that was a spot for a while. So, yeah, I moved out here to Kalamazoo in 2017. So
you're out at the zoo, huh?
Yep. We're on the west side over here. So I still go back home because I actually grew up in Rochester Hills. So.
Okay. Hey, thank you for having me, Mark, but let's get some corrections.
All right.
I played power forward.
Power forward.
Not a center. I ain't no big goof. I could move a little bit. Lambeer was the center.
He was taking a lot of he took a lot of punishment back then too.
Well, back then, that was then. Now he ain't taking no punishment. He's just winning championships with the women.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Mark.
Oh, dude, absolutely. It's a pleasure. You know, it's a couple of years ago when that 30 for 30 came out, that was for me, that was huge because I think a lot of Detroit teams, especially the Pistons and the Red Wings, catch a lot of flack. And there's at times they have been some of the most dominant teams. I think it's hard to argue that, you know, the Bad Boys team at that time was the most dominant force in the NBA. You guys had everyone's head on a swivel constantly. And a lot of people thought it was, you know, aggressive, but there was a lot of calculation in the way you guys were playing.
Well, no, thank you for saying there was a lot of calculations because you're right when you say that. We were very physical. It wasn't that we were dominant, but it was just the fact that we would abide by the rules. The rules say you could do this, but we would go just a little bit to the rule, but never go over the rule. But it was a fun time that we represented and we embraced what Michigan was all about was hardworking people. And that's where, you know, you look at it, you look around Michigan, you in Kalamazoo, it's all about strapping up your boots and let's get out there and work. So that's why when you look at our championship teams and you look at the 04 championship team, it was more like, okay, let's go to work. It's about work and identity. It wasn't about individuality. It was all about a team sport. And we played it to everybody played their role to the fullest. For sure. Absolutely. Now, this is, you know, with the, you know, COVID-19 and everything that's happening right now, obviously everything has had to change, including sports. And it's obviously a little bit different feel. But as we hopefully are turning the corner on the pandemic here, and you've been basically named the ambassador for DraftKings, which is now one of the premier online betting companies that's now legalized in Michigan, correct? Yes, it is. Starts today. Yeah. It's, you know, to be, you know, have a privilege to be an ambassador for the DraftKings. I just think that it just shows that, you know, you have legal wagers coming across the board instead of going to the back room or the black market to make some bets is something that you can do right outstanding and right in front of you. And listen, with the way modern technology is, everybody's kind of in the house, might as well put some skin in the game. Right, and exactly. That's the thing about, you put some skin in the game. And also, it's like, you know what, Mark, I look at it where you're saying, okay, you talk, you know, I go to the barbershop. I don't know, you probably go to the salon. But you also look at the way sports are now because it's like with this pandemic, you're looking at different opportunities. You know, you're looking at football, for example. I'm looking at, you know, the divisional championships this weekend, and and don't get me wrong, I know I'm in Detroit Lions country, but I'm kind of rooting for Green Bay to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because I am a New England Patriots fan.
Right,
I
right.
like Tom Brady.
See, but the U of M fans have been pretty loyal to Tom Brady throughout his career. So, yeah.
See, because it's you notice the key word, U of M.
Yeah.
He was there before he was a Patriot. So I went to school in Virginia, and I'm from Connecticut. So
right.
it's like,
You're right. You don't have that same kind of dedication to him. Well, with the pandemic and obviously with online sports betting, do you think this is like with sports books coming into Michigan and now being legalized? I think that's kind of the new spark that Detroit sports fans need, especially, you know, while all their teams are going through somewhat of a rebuilding phase.
Yes, I mean it's very key, because it's different type bettings that you can do right now. I mean, who scores the first point in football, field goals, and things like that. Those are things that you're putting skin in the game. Understanding that, hey, it's like you sit and you have bragging rights to a degree if you just say, all right, let's just bet. But now you got some bragging rights with a little bit of change in your pocket. And, you know, something that if you feel being home and cooped up, you're going to look at sports. Sports is something, it's entertainment to keep your mind occupied instead of thinking about what's going on around the world. It's just a brief moment in time that you can do something and enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And again, a lot of people, you know, I've known people throughout the years who are not huge on sports, and honestly, it's very easy for people to sit at home on their couch and criticize. But these are people who have literally worked their whole lives to get to this point. And there's more that you see than what you see on TV. There's dedication, there's working out. You know, it's a lifestyle. You have to maintain that lifestyle if you're going to have any kind of longevity in professional sports.
That is true. You know, I was blessed to have at least 18 NBA years with 1 year overseas. I was blessed to play that long. And then this kind of, you look at a guy like Tom Brady, who's 43, guys like Drew Brees, it's about dedicating your body to what your craft is about. I always would tell most players that I meet and conversate with, I tell them, this is what, you know, you have to make this you go back to the lab. It's your craft. This is what you do for a living, but also you have to enjoy it. It keeps you in the peak interest of what you're doing for a living.
Right. Absolutely. And you know, speaking of your time in the NBA, obviously, and touching a little bit on, you know, the Pistons 30 for 30, you know, it's obvious from your testimonials in that film that your time with the Pistons was incredibly important. And, you know, obviously the championship was bittersweet because, you know, 2 days later, you know, you got this unfortunate news. And I'm just curious to get your take, because it seems like because you and Lambier especially, that pairing on the court was just so dangerous, and not in the violent aspect, but dangerous as in, you know, two of the top players in their positions. And you know, and this reputation behind it that you guys are aggressive players, not necessarily in, like I said, in the violent sense, but in the skilled sense.
Well, you know what? It's the fact that being a skilled player and also, you know, bringing the competitive edge that Bill Lambier and I had. It was the fact that you always look at Bill and say, well, he can't jump, he can't run fast. The thing about it is just being smart enough and have the basketball IQ that we had, that we can cut off the court. We could defend you to a point that, okay, we're going to frustrate you and you're going to think about us. But by that time, the game will be over. So, I mean, I'm in a room right now and I'm reading something that just becomes prevalent when you mention the Bad Boys. It says, a quote by Chuck Daly, do you want to be known as a great player or do you want to be known as a champion? And I mean, that right there, those words resonate with what it's all about.
Yeah.
Even though I was a good player, I'm not saying I was a great player, but I had a job, and also it was something that I enjoyed doing. Basketball is something that you grow up playing, and then to get paid for it, it even only makes it a lot sweeter. But my whole thing is, you were talking about me being 2 days later about leaving the Pistons. Yeah. The reality is that you do get drafted, and you do get traded. And the thing is, that's the business of basketball that you don't want to see. But now I love what the players are doing now, that they can kind of dictate where they want to go, and have control of what their career can be.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't like that. And I'm like, but, just even bringing, I know a lot of people, pardon me, in Michigan, and definitely from what I see on my feed, a lot of people were hating on people like LeBron James for setting up a team, and basically saying, oh, well, it doesn't really count because they stacked the team. And I go, well, wait a minute. What about the 2002 Red Wings? That is probably one of the nastiest sports teams of all time. We're talking about at least a dozen Hall of Famers on the team. It's a different sport, but again, we have to remember, we're not completely innocent either. It's about winning championships.
It's also about being, in the place where you feel comfortable at.
Right.
A lot of times, with players, kind of picking and choosing where they go. I don't mind that, because I was in situations, I'd be in the locker room, and next thing you know, one guy be dressing, and next thing you know, he was going out of the locker room. He was traded to the other team.
Yeah.
right in the middle of the game sometimes. So,
right.
I mean, I don't mind what these young men do with these athletes do with their time. I think that when you can play in a pickup game and you can pick your friends and do what you want to do, is that fair? I mean, people look at it can be hypocritical and being on the couch and saying, oh, that's not right. But it's some people that are lifers in all sports. I mean, we look at it with Tom Brady. I looked at it for him to go to Tampa Bay and leave in New England. Those were, you think he was going to retire as a Patriot, but hey, this is a basketball. Somebody else might want to give you more money.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Now, I know it's a little subjective, but like I said, that 30 for 30 made us privy to things I think maybe we weren't aware of before, definitely about how the Pistons were built at that time. And I know it's a subjective question, but it feels like the team had been built for success, and you guys finally achieved that success. Do you feel like if you hadn't been traded, you guys would have been able to maintain and be obviously they won back-to-back championships, but be a heavy hitter for the finals the next, say, like 5 years after that?
Yeah. It is, like you said, it is subjective. It's saying woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Right.
If things would have happened, they were fortunate to win a second championship, which I applaud them. They beat Chicago. We couldn't get past Chicago with Charles Barkley.
Right.
Always saying, Michael Jordan is my friend. I can't hit him. And I'm sitting there going like, we ain't going nowhere. This was it. But it's the fact that, it makes other teams want to be where you are. And one thing that I don't like about the history of the NBA, they go Celtics, Lakers, and then they go Chicago Bulls. That kind of perturbs me, because you forget about the Detroit Pistons and you forget about the Houston Rockets that were worked in there as well, 2 back-to-back champions, and you go, where did they go? I mean, Houston was very good, and we were very good. So would it have been dominance if I would have probably stayed? More than likely, but things change. That's what it's all about. People move on.
Yeah, exactly. And even with documentaries like Last Stand and everything, still seems that there's like a little bit of bitterness for that whole time period.
You watch that crap.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. When I grew up, like when
it had nothing to do.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't wasting none of my hours to watch 10 hours of that crap.
The main reason I watched it was because I was starting to see some reviews about what they had to say about the whole rivalry between Bulls and Pistons, and like I said, it still seems like there's some kind of hostility there, and you know what it is. Everybody thinks it's hostility, and it's always
something for news to write about.
Yeah.
That Jordan doesn't like Isaiah. Maybe that is true. I mean, I know Larry Bird don't like Bill Laimbeer. So, I mean, who do you like, Mark? Sometimes I look at it, you're in this industry, and you might don't like somebody at another station. Those are the things that I look at. But like Robert Parrish, Cedric Maxwell, guys that Dominique Wilkins, guys that I've battled against, we talk, we enjoy it because we're only the building blocks of making this NBA the way it is.
True. Yeah, very true. And what do you think? What do you see the major difference from the time that you spent in the league till now? Like, is there one thing in general that you see as a major difference between the two time periods, or do you think the sport changes with the time?
Sports changes with the times, but look, if I could have been playing now, I could have been a $20 million guy.
Yeah, no joke.
That's one thing that changed. But also, I could be shooting 3-pointers and won't get benched.
Right. That's hilarious.
Hey, listen, Mark, it'd be like, okay, you shoot a 3-pointer. Here's your sub.
Oh man, what's like one of your funniest memories from playing a game? I know it's obviously a serious thing, but there's got to be some things that happen that are that make you crack up while you're playing.
Oh my gosh, just thinking about it. Let my kids. This is what's funny. My kids are, they were just coming around when about later on in my career. But they found a box of VCR tapes in the basement that had all the Piston stuff on it, and they put it in. And when they finished watching just about 3 of them, they came upstairs and they looked at me and said, "Boy, you were mean." And I'm sitting there looking at them. What do you mean? I'm a nice dad. I'm a disciplinarian type dad, but I'm pretty nice guy off the court.
Right.
He said, "Ooh." They were like, "Oh, that!" Now that was the funniest thing because they never really saw me play. Right.
Which is like, you're in your element, you're young, and you're in the zone basically.
Yeah, I'm in that zone of kicking ass and taking names, and they were like, "Whoa, Dad."
Yeah. Can't be held responsible for what I used to do.
Like, well, I'm glad you're nice, Dad. I'm glad you're nice.
Obviously. Well, and like you said, the Pistons kind of got left out of that championship run. Like they look at Bird, Magic, and then Jordan, and it's like, 2 years, Pistons were dominant, and they nobody could mess with them, nobody could touch them, and they were in everyone's heads.
We have 3 Hall of Famers on that team. Hopefully, we get a 4th one with Bill Laimbeer.
For sure.
But also, you look at the Houston Rockets. They got Elijah Wan and Clyde Drexler.
Yeah.
Those are some Hall of Famers. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But all we know in Detroit and Michigan, that the bad boys and the go-to-work guys, we are a 3-time champion up in there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What's to wrap it up, like what's one thing? Obviously, like I said, there's a lot of rebuild going on with Detroit teams right now. What's the best thing that the Pistons are going to need in order to lead them back to that title run era again?
Well, the thing is, you got to get the right pieces, and I think Troy Weaver has done a great job of just making sure that you get players that's going to compete. And I look at it, each game, it's only been 1 game or 2 games that the Pistons have been probably blown out in a couple of losses. But when you look at it, they've been in, they only losing by 10. And, you see something there because it's the fact that you can compete and not play you have to learn how to play 48 minutes instead of learning how to play 40 minutes or 38 minutes. Those are the things that are key for the young guys to learn and the older guys to mentor them to get better. Yeah,
no doubt. Conditioning is super crucial.
Yes, it is. Conditioning and making their minds understand that this ain't college no more. This is 48 minutes, so let's get out here and play. Yeah, no doubt, man. Well, very excited, obviously, you being named ambassador of DraftKings and obviously the sports book that's launched, the online betting that's now legalized in Michigan. And like I said, hopefully we're turning the corner on the pandemic thing so that you can kind of get back to seeing our friends and our family and get back into the arenas and to be able to cheer again and
to celebrate that hard work, because I think that's the biggest thing missing from sports right now.
Yes, it is. The fans are so important for sports, but it's also, like you said, this pandemic has been strange. It's been something that a lot of people have never witnessed, and probably, hopefully, they don't witness this in their life ever again. Just making sure that you stay safe out there and pray that, you know what, when you do, when you're out and about, make sure you apply by the rules. 6 feet, and make sure you wash your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, got to stay safe if we're going to get back to normal. Well, dude, I appreciate you spending some time with me. Super nice of you. Super nice to talk to you. And like I said, if you ever want to talk again about anything, feel free to hit me up, because I'm always down.
All right. Well, you know that I probably just need a burger and some fries. Come on, Mark.
Hey, man.
Give me some burgers and fries. You can cook that, can't you?
I'll hook it up. You know what? I'll even give you a side of cheese. You'll be good to go.
All right, man. You stay blessed and stay safe.
Hey, you too, man. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks.
Take care, man.